then we'll be on to the front of the church. Let's talk about what that stone's actually worth. Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. My name is Mike and we are right back on the church salvage job where we're trying to salvage as much of this Indiana limestone off of this church as possible. I had several people in the last video say that the way that I was doing it is not the most easy or most effective way of doing this. And to be fair, even though I did run that suggestion through my mind several times before starting, I never actually tried it. So let's take a little closer look at the way they want me to do it. And then we'll get working on the way we've been doing it to see which one's easier. Today's goal is to get this corner down, that chimney over there down. So this is the comment I got dozens of times, and that's to just push it in and pick through the rubble. The stone will be fine and it'll be much easier than the technique we've been using. Well, let's take a gander, shall we? So here's what's left of the limestone after that wall was pushed in. I'm not really in the gravel salvage business. Well, there's one issue, but even for the ones that didn't break too terribly bad, which would be none of them, they all broke. A fellow would have to come in here, walk through the rubble, pick these up one at a time. And this limestone's not light by any means. And then we're talking about walking back through the rubble, walking out of the rubble, over to where a pallet would be that we could stack these on. And then repeating that the entire time. It's a heck of a suggestion. It really is. And trust me, I've thought about that process. But let's get everything fired up and get to work on that. And then we'll kind of compare. And you tell me which one you think is easier. There's a chance of some severe weather coming through later this evening. But with the history of accuracy for meteorologists, we're gonna go for it. I did snag a longer pallet as well because some of these are crazy long, like 5 and 6 feet long. Unlock the tailgate. Perfect. No idea how long the microphone has been laying on the ground. Sorry. I did have people ask if I felt like this was working better or the chisel tip was working better. Honestly, I feel like the chisel tip was working better. It gets fatter, faster, so it kind of pops them up quicker. With this, I could get in and then I'd have to kind of leverage the block up. With this, the hammer drill is doing most of the work for me. Still running this little VEVOR. I don't hate it. It's been working just fine. And now that was fancy. We stopped past the old Sam's Club the other day. Happened to notice they had wasp spray. I picked up a few of these, 25% more, 3 cans, that's 75%. Guys, that's almost like a free can. What a deal. Make sure we check the engine real quick. It's got one, that's good. What about this stuff? It's got any of this? Oh yeah, plenty. It'll take us all the way to the blow up for sure. Okay. Oh, plenty of her. Nice. I had a few people ask, how can you tell when it's level? It's basically got some go, no-go lights on it that tell you when she's happy or not happy. I'm used to running like a boom style lift, you know? This has more of a scissor action to it, and it seems to be, that's called a node knot. It seems to be a little more sensitive to the level. It's got a little bit more safety in it than I do, and that's okay, we'll make it work. And let's put the backhoe, part of the operation. We'll just put it right here. See if the battery holds out for another day here. Oh. Oh yeah. Messed up my fuel shutoff cable the other day. Probably just a 5-minute fix, but I'll spend 2 years fighting it. Okay. Very nice. Very nice indeed. And we just need to fire up the old face space generator here. We should be good to go. Fuel on or off? Oh, I turned it off? How responsible. Oh, look at her, bud. We're doing some preventative is what we're doing here. Huh? Preventative. He tried, didn't he? Good. Maybe this will help me today. Oh, it tastes terrible. Oh. Tart. Oh yeah, there's a lot coming out of there. Good. Good, good, good. Well, that's expensive, but I don't care much right now. We'll start with peeling that wood off first. Well, if the whole thing, it's a bird, it was a bird, it was a bird. If the whole top's gonna go, let's just let the whole top go. Maybe, maybe, go. There she goes. Awesome, love it. Come up just a little bit. Oh yes, very nice. And we just take it and we set it there. The magic happens. And we grab it. See how this works? Take it and we just scooch it like so. Pretty simple. Whatever debris we don't take fills up the basement. This lift only has a 500-pound basket capacity. I'm a $175 plus the tools, so probably 200 or so. So I try not to overload it too much with the stone. The limestone is very heavy. It's 150 pounds per cubic foot. Just set them on the pallet. I only have to touch the stone twice. That's it. Oh. So with that option, it's pretty simple. I only touch the stone twice. I'm never picking it up with my back. I'm not walking across rubble. It might be a tad slower, but I'm also getting more usable stone. I'm not breaking as many. I mean, you tell me in the comments which one you think's better. Knock the wall in, pick through the rubble, and walk through the rubble and hope I get more than gravel, or do it piece by piece, sliding everything around. I've got my answer. So I'm gonna work that across the opening, shove that brick in. We're gonna work each section down to that corner. So I'm gonna set you up on time lapse. We'll see how long it takes to get that section down. It's 9:40 right now. 9:40. We can also test the bleed down of the loader. I want to go to Fall Fest. Me too. I think that'd be a good time. Hold on, I have to delete all my notifications. I can't have you. There we go. It's 11:02 right now. That's not too bad. 2 pallets worth, and we're not crawling over rubble. We're not down in the basement trying to carry stones out. We're not breaking everything. All of those held together, so I get to keep all of those, which is fantastic. Just my personal opinion, I think that works best, which is good because, you know, I'm the one doing it. So you got it. Yeah. They find me dead on the ground with the harness not clipped to anything. That's just, it's embarrassing, honestly. No, I see you right there. Where'd you go? Ah, yeah. No, you're down. Down for the count, buddy. You can't come back from that. Can't come back from it. Yes. On a scale of 10 to 10, how nervous does that gable make you? Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. We might address that sooner than later, to be honest with you. Oh, yes. It's all ready to come down. That's why I like it. Makes me feel alive, you know? Oh, God, come here. Come here. Yes. Man, some of these things are monsters. Oh, yeah. All right, we'll take that down by itself. Maybe they're living up under this thing and I'm just knocking stuff onto it. Who knows? Not me. Oh, there's one right there. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Shoot. Oh yeah, there's more. They're under there. Oh God. 5 leaves, Virginia creeper. So we're looking not too bad on this, but I did not plan on taking that gable down today. That was going to be a later in the stage thing. But seeing how unsupported it is, it doesn't seem safe to leave it up. So we're going to jump to that next, which means I got to push some of this mess back down here with the backhoe. We'll just have to use the bucket because I don't have the loader with me. Hopefully we can get the lift close enough to the top because I want to do it by hand top down. I don't want to use the backhoe. I'm not tall enough with even with the extended hoe. I don't have enough reach to hit the top of that. I don't really have a good angle on it. And since the wall is still on the other side, if I push too much and it all decides to go at once, it could push the walls out on the other side. And since there's a good structure on the other side of the structure, I don't want that to happen. So we're just gonna have to do it by hand, top down. Very nice. Oh yes, lovely. Are you guys on down there? Could you imagine if I forgot to turn you on? Jeez, that would be embarrassing. So we're getting close to where I want to be. I just want to carry that angle down and around, and I'll be comfortable leaving that for the time being. I expect most of this rock here to be heat cracked. They said the fire came like this direction, which is probably why those one sections were heat cracked. I expect these to be heat cracked too, but I want to check. If they are, we'll push it in with the backhoe. If they're not, we'll start salvaging it. Oh dear, wrong way. Well, it's a new day. We got a little bit of a late start. There's a little thunderstorm that came through this morning, but not complaining. Kind of cool things off a little bit. We've got some clearing to do on the other side. Just pull some saplings back. Then we can hop up, try to get that chimney down and see if there's anything salvageable on that side of the church. We've got a few things to try to pull out and make room for the lift. Satellite dish numero uno is first on the list. He said just rip them out, so that's what we're gonna do. I got the man lift over here leveled up. It's sitting pretty ready to go. I'm kind of going through and inspecting everything and seeing what we're gonna just take down fast and what we're gonna try to salvage. Let me get my harness on. I'll just take you up there with me. I'll show you what I'm looking at. It doesn't look like there's as much salvageable on this side, and that's okay, kind of to be expected. I came up and looked at this before I decided to take the job on, see if I felt like there was enough, and so far, I haven't had any surprises. What I thought would be bad has been bad, and what I thought would be salvageable has been salvageable. Up we go. Let's start over there at the bottom of the chimney. And the higher we go, the more cracks we get, which that's to be expected. You got to think about where this was at during the fire. Then once we get towards the top, we're really getting into some heavy discoloration. And I'm gonna be willing to bet, this is what I'm looking at. You see these cracks here? That's where the surface is falling off of it. I'm willing to bet there's not a lot worth salvaging on this chimney. Better look at the side of the chimney there. You can see all the cracking towards the top side. That wall going, and that wall is gonna go. Look at that big old meaty praying mantis. You know it's a good time when the ratchet straps come out. What we're gonna do here, what I'd like to do, I want to pull it from the opposite side, but I don't want it to come down and just, you know, a little bit. So I'm gonna ratchet strap some 2x4s to it in an effort to try to keep it together as one piece so it all comes down. And the backhoe is just not tall enough, you know. Last thing I want, kind of left you mid-thought there. Last thing I want is to push this thing and it come back on the backhoe. Great content, but a bad day. That's how I loop mine together. I try to go through the actual webbing itself. Well, there's one. Got my fancy, smancy adjustable toe straps. You reckon a fella gets down there without dying? No way slow. That's a guarantee. This is fun. This is fun. This is neat. All right, wow. Okay, he's really looking up around here. Got the old adjustable toe straps. They come in handy. Oh yeah, that's about right. Not too bad. It didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do, but with the board on there, it kept it doing from what I definitely didn't want it to do. We'll go look at the back side, but it didn't pull all the way in because that stone is all heat fractured. It's just like gravel, like what we looked at earlier. As soon as we put pressure on it, it pretty much just crumbled. I gave it a little throttle, tried to get it to pull in, and then it just kind of collapsed on itself, which is fine because it didn't go backwards into the structure on the back side. That's a win in my book. That rock just turned into nothing on the way down, which means it was not up there very well. I'm trying to find a block that has a crack that's not broke all the way through yet. Here's a good example of it. See those cracks? That's from the heat of that fire, causing it all to spall out like that. There wasn't a whole lot left holding it. We're at a little bit of an awkward angle here, but I don't know what I got to deal with. I think we can make it happen. That'll work. Oh, why is that springy? Oh, because it's springs. It's a box. Okay. Well, these window seals, these big limestone window seals, that's cool. Try that. Oh yeah, that'll work. Go, baby. And then that one's next. We'll back the lift out of the way of Most of those crumbled into nothing too. There are a few salvageable, but I'd say out of the wall, maybe 10% of the stone survived that. My favorite thing is the wasps are dusty while they're flying around right now. I mean, they're in it, you know? Not too bad. There's one last demolition thing I want to do before we switch back to salvage mode. If I crawl up just a little bit, I think I'm in a decent spot to get the rest of that gable, or some more of that gable, from this side. I got myself a new cameraman. Oh yeah. That is different than Virginia creeper. You can see it's just one leaf like that. This is a grapevine, a natural, good old-fashioned grapevine. There's another good look at those heat cracks. This destroys that stone. I would expect that on the top layer, but as we go down, we should start getting some decent stone. I would say probably 3 or 4 courses down. It's a leaf. It was a leaf. It's fine. Not bad. Making good progress on this. It's just kind of an awkward trip to take this and swing it all the way 180 around to where I can actually get the backhoe. But we're in a good spot right where it sits that I can work this wall too. So whenever we get to here, it's just that stone straight down to the pallet. That'll go really quick. And then we'll be on to the front of the church. That's some pretty good progress for a couple days of work. I'm pretty happy with it anyway. Let's talk about what that stone's actually worth. A ton of people have been asking what this stuff is worth, and is it even worth my time? Now that's always going to be up to the person doing the work, right? Just like I don't think having a sawmill is worth the time or money, a lot of people do. So that doesn't mean that this is going to be perfect scenario for everybody, but for me, I feel like it is. As far as what this is worth for salvage, like if you're going to sell this, there is little to no market. There's not a tremendous amount of value in it. That's because you're going to have a hard time finding a mason that's going to want to take used salvage stone that now has defects, and some of it might be good and some of it might not, and some of it's got stains, and you might not have enough of it, and your pieces are going to be mismatched. You're going to have a hard time finding a mason that wants to lay that. And I thought that was the case, and just to double check, I actually called a couple limestone companies that sell it, and one of them said they've got salvage stone that's been sitting in their yard for over 10 years. They've never been able to sell for anybody for that exact reason. So there's not a lot of resale value in it. That doesn't mean that I couldn't sell it, but it'd be kind of tricky. I'd probably be sitting on it for a while. The real value for us is in the cost savings of not having to buy it. Slash, for me, saving a little bit of history, and I've just always liked that aspect of it. So if you're not into that or reusing or salvaged products, maybe it's not for you. So to stick to the theme of what would it cost us to buy this, well, I'll tell you, it's $200 a ton. Let's try to figure out how much we've actually got so far. And these are pretty tightly packed, but we'll call an average out of it just to be fair on it. Let's just call it, she's 34, but let's call her 32. Let's say 32 by 3 foot, which it's a little more than that, but we want to be fair about it. 1 foot high. So 1728 is the magic number. That's cubic feet, but in inches. So we take the old 32 times the 36 times the 12. Gives us 13,824 divided by the 1728, gives us a cubic feet, about 8 cubic feet per pallet, times 150 pounds is about 1,200 pounds per pallet, times we've got 9 pallets worth so far. 10,800 pounds divided by a ton, which is 2,000 pounds, gives us 5.4 times 200 bucks a ton, is about $1,000 worth of stone right now. And that's within the first 5 working days, and it's the slowest days. Now I think, if I'm looking at everything right, we'll be able to do triple that in the next set of 5 days. So we're averaging about, what my goal was, is $4,000 worth of material by the time we're done with this. And that does not include the fact that when we're done with salvage, there's a little bit of paid demolition work to go with it, which kind of covers the cost of equipment rental. So it really works out really well for me. Remember, it's different for everybody. Because from here on out, it is straight from the wall to the pallet. We move the backhoe as we go. There's no man lift work. We're not losing that time. It's gonna go way quicker. And that's the specific reason that I tried to do all the most difficult stuff first, so that as we went down the project, it got easier and it got fast. Because if there's one thing that I've learned from taking on projects like this in the past, not to this scale, but I've taken on some crazy and wild things, it's that when you get to the end of that project, I'm done. I don't want to be there anymore. I don't want to be doing it. I'm mentally and physically exhausted, and I do not want to be doing the hardest thing when I'm in that state of mind. I want to be doing the easiest part of the project, which is why I always try to set it up that the last stone is the easiest stone. I hope you guys tune in for the next video. It's going to be right back on this thing. And I kind of want to nerd out on you guys a little bit about Indiana limestone, about the history of it, where it's used, why it started being used and all that, because there's a lot more to it than just, that's a pretty rock. There's some history to it, and I think it's cool. If you want to know about that history, I can combine that with the next video of this, which will be the next video, but I don't know if everybody's going to want to hear that. So if we get like 100 comments that say limestone history, I'll mix it in with the next video. It'll be interesting, it'll go along with this work, and I think it'll be really cool. It's like day 792 of me trying to find the best way to thank you guys for watching. Thank you just never seems like enough, but it's all I've got to say for it. So thank you for being here. I hope I'm... Well, I'll always be awkward. You got that? I hope I'm lucky enough to catch you on the next one.